It's time now for Options Insight, and we want to get you up to speed on the day's options trading. Joining us now, I'm thrilled to say, is Samantha LaDuc. She is the founder of LaDucTrading. And Samantha, let's start with the VIX. I'm looking at it right now. It's at 7.5. That seems extremely low. It's the lowest since about January 2022. What is going on?
Well, we have really a lot out of the way as it relates to risk. Credit spreads have tightened since I was last on the show, and SPY continues to grind sideways to higher. Even if megatech concentration risk from that momentum rally, both from January 5th as well as the bank bailout March 12th, is starting to peter out with semis. We still have a very strong impulse higher with CPI, out of the way, and earnings coming up, and banks kind of clearing the way for that unknown. So as long as we are still working towards FOMC 25 basis point hike and then a pause, risk assets are pricing in all as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk about that big tech rally that you mentioned, because I look at the NASDAQ 100 right now. Of course, it was the outperformer in the first quarter. It's seen a little bit of weakness as the quarter flipped, but we are heading into earnings, of course, for big tech. And we're coming off, again, a handful of names really carrying this rally forward. What kind of concentration risk is there as we head into that earnings period?
Well, I think it's a really wonderful time to protect in June. So speaking of VIX hitting that 17 handle, I think it's a really smart bet to add some protection, some tail risk protection for June. For example, the very famous, 50-cent VIX May 50 calls were 50 cents. They spiked up to $1.50 at the bank crisis height in mid-March, and now they're back to 13 cents. I'm not one to really swing for the fences that way. I like a financed call spread in VIX, selling the $18 puts in June and buying the 24 by 30 call spread. But I'm also looking very much at the outperformance that we've had in Q1 in gold miners, gold, silver. Actually, gold miners have outperformed silver. Silver has outperformed gold. Gold has outperformed SPY. So there has definitely been that lift in gold and yen. But specifically, I think we're due for a little test on this. So the dollar yen, USDJPY, has been falling, and it has created a bid in yen. And again, the gold is beneficiary. Buffett, actually inspired by an article just yesterday in Bloomberg, where Berkshire Hathaway has sold a very large amount of Japanese bonds in yen. And despite high costs, that shows me that this yen unwind potential could actually create higher yields and a spike lower in gold and precious metals. It's a great buying opportunity for later, but for right now, I think we have definitely outperformed in that sector. Time to pull back. Definitely that Buffett concentration of Japanese equities. Your last guest is talking about investing abroad. He definitely has in Japan. Translation: Bank of Japan can kind of strengthen their currency by selling U.S. treasuries. That doesn't go over so well, right, with Yellen. Or they can expand their yields to reverse this carry trade. And I think that's going to create a short-term bull move in the USDJPY and suppress yen. And with that, we might get a little pullback in precious metals.
All right, Samantha, I think we hit it all. Equities, currencies, gold. Really appreciate your time as always. That is Samantha LaDuc. Thank you for joining today's Options Insight. And from New York, this is Bloomberg.